This may or may not be a familiar name to you, John Mulaney. If not, he's a stand-up comedian, and I will never forget the first time I heard his work. My friend and I were shooting pool, my right hand pressed down against the red fuzzy table supporting the stick in my left. And presumably to distract me, my friend starts reciting this bit that I later learn is from one of Mulaney's albums. And I tried to focus, and I shot, and I missed terribly, and I laughed until my entire body hurt. I was 13 years old, and I don't think I'd ever heard good comedy before. And in that moment, I learned that laughter is the best feeling in the world. And now, between podcasts and stand-up and my wonderful friends, I listen to hours upon hours of comedy a week. And between creating my own podcasts, writing, and subjecting those around me to hit-or-miss witty remarks, I spend hours doing comedy every week. Comedy is very important to me. It breaks the ice really well. It makes me smile. More importantly, it makes other people smile. Comedy can be used to articulate a point really well. Satire, like The Onion, is a wonderful example of that. Jokes are a great defense mechanism, too. My second grade teacher had a whole lesson about combating bullies with confidence and wit. And I've learned in my own time that comedy can fight against physical or emotional hurt caused by pretty much anything. Comedy has helped me when I've struggled with depression, and it helps me deal with my anxiety every day. If you pay attention, you'll notice a lot of professional comedians are sad. So, understanding comedy will allow you to find more things to laugh with and at than you ever thought possible. And I guess if you understand comedy, you will smile more. Understanding comedy and how it's structured will also make you more able to construct it, and therefore more able to bring happiness into the lives of the people you love. Now, if you don't like understanding things because you think it makes them less fun, I request that you respectfully please plug your ears, close your eyes, and shout loudly and incoherently for the remainder of the talk. Thank you for not doing that. Let's move on. So, comedy, at its most basic, boils down to the subversion of expectations. Like when I just said, please respectfully make a scene, and some of you laughed because your expectations were subverted. They were not destroyed or fulfilled. You were surprised, but not confused. Surprise is the reason people laugh. Now, all of comedy happens within a context, and there are two types of comedy, reactive and active. And in both types of comedy, the laughter comes from a response to an agreed-upon context that subverts the expectations of the audience. So in reactive comedy, the context is simply your surroundings, including the people, the place, and the situation you're in. And the joke often comes in the form of a witty remark regarding something within the context. So most of the jokes you hear on a daily basis are reactive. Let's look at a reactive joke. So I knocked over a desk in class today because I am a clumsy boy, and my teacher, sort of jokingly upset, she looks at me and she points and she yells, 40 slaps with a wet noodle. And without missing a beat, I reply, I eat pasta for lunch. That actually happened. So let's look at the components of this joke. First of all, it's witty, which means the speed of response was immediate and that it's insightful. It provides the insight that not only can I handle these slaps, I'll enjoy them. The context was me. The context was me in class at school. It was happening in real time. The content of the joke was connected to multiple things within the context. The more things the content of a joke is adjacent to within the context, the funnier the joke will be. The word pasta was adjacent to the word noodle. The idea of punishment was connected to my ability to handle that punishment. And the joke plays on the fact that the teacher is in charge by explaining that I, the student, have the upper hand. That's a solid, witty response. In active comedy, active jokes are just reactive jokes made to a agreed-upon fictional context, often referred to as the setup. This is what stand-up comedy is. So let's look at a stand-up bit. I was at the golf club last night having a wonderful full-course meal. It was delicious. It's actually kind of funny now that I think about it that they call it a golf club, because that's like the name of the thing that you do the game with. It would be like going to a baseball bat. And anyway, I digress. So I was at the golf club having this wonderful full-course meal, and then when I finished, I noticed like the whole wait staff is standing around and they're staring at me. They're giving me the stink eye. They're clearly very upset, and it took me a second to realize what they were mad about. I'd eaten the thing that they play golf on. All 18 holes, the whole course. Let's look at the components of this joke. So, first of all, I built the context. It didn't really happen. And I guess the context was me in the golf club having dinner. Simple enough. And then the content subverted your expectations multiple times, all within the context of the setup. First, the idea that a golf club is called a golf club is kind of funny. Second, the fact that I interrupted the joke to comment on such a trivial thing is kind of unexpected in its own right. Third, I used the idea of a baseball bat to highlight the irony, not that screw up was a joke. It was for the bit. So I used the idea of a baseball bat to highlight the irony of a golf club. And fourth, I subverted your expectations one last time, the main course of the joke, if you will, by changing the meaning of full course meal. And none of those ideas were the next logical progression of thought, but none of them were completely unrealistic within the context of the setup. They were all surprising. So theoretically, they were all funny. Now, sorry, hold on just a sec, one quick thing. So this is the part where I wanted to take off my shirt and just have black tape covering my nipples and stand here. And that would have been completely socially inappropriate. It would have been very unexpected. It would have been surprising. And you would have laughed. And that, in a nutshell, is how physical and cringe comedy works. That wasn't a joke. That's actually how it works, because it's inappropriate and therefore unexpected. And that's all I got. Go home, write some jokes, take off your shirt, and bring happiness into the lives of many. Thank you.